I knew he was probably taking care of some type of bills. My sister didn't like him, but I was like, man, he here.
He had a role to play. He played that role.
I learned what that role is later in life. Wow. You know what I'm saying? People, marriage is an old institution for financial support. The woman leave their father, get with a man. He provides, protects. So that's a whole nother. But he showed. Boy, listen here. And I'm gonna tell all the parents out there. At some point in your child's life, explain to them who you are and what you went through. Because this is where I got to know my daddy as an adult, what he went through. And this will explain that bridge where why he couldn't do what he was supposed to do, or different things, different times, different strokes for different folks. So that's where I got to know my daddy, right? So this is where it came into full play. So real quick, give you a backstory, and this is chopped up because this is my childhood, this is my experiences. So I think I was maybe elementary school. I got to meet my sisters. I had 2 older sisters by my dad for the first time. I think he took us to Lost Lake. I don't know if y'all remember where Lost Lake was. So that's where I remember meeting my sisters for the first time. And I was like, oh, shoot, I got older sisters. And then chopped and screwed.
How many older sisters?
2. I don't know if I can say the names, but my sister Laisha, she's probably around 40 something, maybe. Don't hold me this is. And then my sister Shanita, she's probably 2 years older than me. And I end up seeing her. So flash forward, I end up seeing her at Rickers in RTC, and I was like, man,
while we was there.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, this was my 9th grade year. And I was like, oh, shoot, I think that's my sister. And then, mind you, I'm 5th grade. I don't remember seeing her again until 9th grade. And I was like, I think that's my sister. I was telling my friends, last name same. She's like, yeah, Wendell, our daddy. Shout out to Wendell.
Wow. How strange.
That was weird, bro.
I was about to say, how strange or how normal is it like to know you have a sister?
Right.
You see her, you don't have no relationship with her, and you trying to figure out how you going to approach her.
Right.
Wow, bro.
I didn't know how to approach her. Ooh. And then I remember one of my friends just ran up and told her, like, yeah, Dicarrio might be your brother. And then she's like, your daddy name? Yep, that's him. So.
That's wild.
How did y'all's bond change?
Go ahead.
Huh?
How did y'all's bond change? You and your sister, just curious.
We still didn't have no bond because there's a different relationship when you raised with them in the household. I had a sister, me and my sister grew up in the same household, and she had a different daddy, and then I had 2 other sisters outside of the household. So I remember my mom had a boyfriend. I thought he was my daddy, and this is probably like preschool, elementary age, because people told me I looked like him, so I thought that was my daddy. And then flash forward, I was probably 4th or 5th grade, seeing my real daddy. I know I got 2 other sisters, chopped and screwed. 9th grade, I seen my other sister, boom. And my stepmama, remember you talked about your stepmama. My stepmama always made it a point to call me on my birthday. She was a good stepmama, and she made sure they did something, whatever it was, special. And then I remember my mama's showing me a child support check, and like, all right, this is why your daddy ain't nothing. I want to say the other word, but she showed me that. I was like, man,
what, it was a petty amount of
it was like
money?
$18.
Wow.
So I don't know if what she meant to do with that, but she was like,
looking back on it, though.
Looking back on it.
You think your mama was being petty?
Yeah, she probably been petty.
Being petty.
But I didn't know the whole story, so I ain't holding against it. Right. As a young child, I took everything with a grain of salt. So I never had a meanness toward my daddy. I just, hey, this the way it is. This is normal.
That's all you knew.
That's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? The man who grew up in the household with me, with my stepdaddy, I didn't have a close relationship with him, but I knew he was there to support. Right. I knew he was probably taking care of some type of bills. My sister didn't like him, but I was like, man, he here.
He had a role to play. He played that role.
I learned what that role is later in life. Wow. You know what I'm saying? People, marriage is an old institution for financial support. The woman leave their father, get with a man. He provides, protects. So that's a whole nother.
But he showed some stuff.
Boy, listen here. And he showed me how to change a tire and the oil change. So hey, shout out to him.
Now, when he did that,
when I was older, when I was probably
you built a relationship with him?
No.
So how? Okay, explain to us how you even got into the position to be able to have him tell you how to change oil if you didn't even have a relationship with him.
So when I started driving, right, I didn't start driving until I could afford my own insurance, and I had my own license, and they gave me I think we had 3 cars at the time. He had a Buick, and my mama had a Cadillac, and it was another brown car I can't remember the name of, but it was all old school cars. So they gave me the Cadillac, and then my mother, I forgot what she started driving.
How old you were?
This was probably, I'm gonna say I graduated Rickard 17, so this was probably 18, 19. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't remember you had no Cadillac, the car.
Nah, but I got dropped off in it though.
You got dropped off.
They used to be out in front of school clowning. It was a Coupe de Ville 86 Cadillac. Long. Long.
You knew how to park it? I bet you didn't know how to parallel park it.
Boy, look at here. That thing was like a bus to me. I started driving. So that was my driving experience. It was old. The windows didn't work. The AC didn't work. So leather seats. It was a microwave in the summertime, going to TCC back and forth.
You ain't had no AC?
The windows didn't work? Bruh.
Boy, it was.
They made that feel like they barely work.
Boy, when you wrote them down, they didn't go back up. So if it started raining, guess what? You out of luck.
Hey,
you had to hold it and have somebody push the button. That was me.
Hey, but your car worked though.
But it'll overheat on you. Be careful. So I had to make my, just a young man trying to figure it out. They didn't give me much, but I had to, work for what I wanted.
Right.
And so fast forward, again, it was chopped and screwed for me. So fast forward, I had my first son. This is 2012. And like you said, when you have your first kids, the grandparents fall into a different role where you feel like they was more for the grandkids than they was you.
Yeah, it's a conversation that we had in the past.
It's a conversation, yeah.
That we had in the past.
So one day I was like, man, and this is where I'm starting to read a little bit more. This is where I may not be following the Bible as much. This is where I'm learning other stuff. So I was like, man, you know what? I don't know nothing about my daddy. I don't know what he went through, what he does for a living, how his upbringing was. So I was like, I remember him coming up. We stayed in St. Augustine Hills Apartments on the first floor. And I remember
St. Augustine Road.
Boy, I said, man, just sit down. I just want to talk to him. Like, bro, what? I don't know you. What's your upbringing? And then he started telling me he was the oldest of 9 kids, and the experiences with the police. You know what I'm saying, and why he feel about it. My daddy said, "Man, listen. I was out there selling drugs. I had a pistol that didn't shoot straight. I had brothers and sisters, and this is my experience." And he started to go deeper into it, and he said my sister's father and him were good friends on the football team at Gabi. They lifted weights, and my mother, whatever the case may be, they was back and forth. And then he left the house one day after laying with her, and he got served on papers, and that's when the relationship changed. And he was like, wilding out there in jail. And then my auntie played a part because she worked for child support. So she used to let me know, shout out to my auntie Phyllis, she let us know the real about having kids that you can't take care of.
Right.
She let us know the child support story. She would look up our daddies in a heartbeat. Yeah, they just picked your daddy up over here off of by NIMS.
For child support.
For child support. Yeah, and then that's where I learned where the system was. If you get picked up for child support, they take your license. If you don't have no license, you can't work.
Right.
So I learned that at a young age, and then learning his story, and then later on I got to talk to his mom and figure out her story, because the story.
Had you always known his mama?
No, I don't remember.
So you ain't had no relationship with your grandma neither?
No, and my mother would do the best she could to get me around them, because it was a bunch of them. And I never had that close relationship, because again, if you don't grow up with those people, my sisters, XYZ, you don't have no connection to them. So I felt like it was foreign land when I would get dropped off with them. I remember my cousin Terrell, because we was around the same age, we had a good relationship, but it was like.
That's only because I was around the same age.
That was it. That was it. That's all I remember. That was my childhood, chopped and screwed as far as that side of the family. And then, so fast forward, learning my daddy. My dad was an electrician. I'm like, oh, bro.
That's a trade that you could have had.
Facts. And I'm growing.
That's a whole nother show too.
Bruh, in the fire department, I'm seeing how other people picked up trades from their dad. And I'm
whether
like,
they contractors.
oh my God.
Whatever kind of electricians.
We'll have a financial episode later. But realizing that what that could have did for me as a young man trying to make my way in this world, supporting myself, because that's all that matter. If you can support yourself, when you get out of the household,